Okay guys, so I'm back. I have so many questions about the whole Russia situation that I made a list and I'm going to start just going through all of them. And as I was writing down all the questions I realized that it just has to do with a lot of the specific players. And are they going to jail? What's the deal? And how the questions were, so what's going on with this person? What will they do with Mueller? Like, how are they going to collaborate with Mueller? And then the third row is going to be, are they going to jail? Yes or not? So of course, the ones that we know that are being investigated are Manafort. Who else is the other guy? Oh, it's Manafort. Oh, Flynn, of course. And then several others. So I wanted to start with Manafort because I feel like he's the one who's been in the news more recently, and in a way he's the key to a lot of the questions. So I'm going to start out with him. So what I did, I have this view here that shows the full reading, and there's basically 3 parts to the reading. So I'm gonna go to the first part. Okay. So, okay. It's very like lo-fi here with my thing. So this is like the first row, okay, and so this is the first row, and you can see here that's Manafort. Before I had the other cards showing, I selected the card, the significator, which is here is him, just a man. And so the second row, I'll just show you quickly and then go back to the top. So this is the second row here, okay. I put Mueller, signifies Mueller, King of Swords. So I put him here, and when I ask these questions about whether they're guilty or they're going to jail, I have Mueller here. And then the third row here is, sorry, I'm making a big mess. So the third and last thing is whether they're going to go to jail or not. So these are the 3 parts of the reading. So to the first, so here's the first, like what's going on with this person overall, like what's up with them, like, right, I don't want too many details because we're going to open up further. So here is, like I said before in my other readings, I mostly use the little Norman cards, the little ones here. They have a different system. They're very very direct and to the point. So, and then I use tarot, traditional tarot here. You could see the larger cards. They're really good with storytelling, and they're a bit more, I guess you could say they're more flexible, and they're a lot more intuitive than the Lenormand, but it's great when you use both of them. So anyway, so here I'm going to start with, this is the 5 of Wands. That's a card of conflict. When it's reversed, it means avoidance of conflict. Here's the Emperor reversed. The Emperor is obviously a very powerful person, politician, could be president, corrupt person in power. And it could be, we know that Manafort has had all these dealings with corrupt people all over the world, oligarchs, we could argue that President Trump is corrupt. So people who are abusing power, that's like he has relationships with people who abuse power and getting material things, having a luxurious lifestyle as a result of connections with corrupt people. So here you have a gift. This is it's a very positive card generally, right? But in the context of the story that we're telling, it says he avoided the conflicts of interest that had to do with these gifts that he was getting. And he made these choices. There were options that were presented to him by these corrupt people, and he definitely got what he wanted out of it. And he, here's like a very wealthy person or a happy person, satisfied, like it has to do with luxury. Usually, again, it's a pretty positive card, but we have to look at what our question really is. So it basically means making a living or having a luxurious lifestyle as a result of these activities with powerful people who are abusing power, right? So anyway, so this is a key. This card here, key, means it means that this is the solution to the reading. Like it points to something, right? It points to something that you have to pay attention to. So here is like his material gains, basically his luxury, his happiness from the gifts. Here starts with the gifts that he received and that they were presented to him from these people. So that's the situation. So now we're moving on to Mueller, right? So I chose here the move down a little bit more. This is Mueller. I picked him as a significator for this section of the reading. Here, turn here. There he is. So whenever I ask questions about, what the legal future and the current investigation, there he is, the King of Swords. So I said, my question was, what is it gonna collaborate with Mueller? What's the deal with him and Mueller? Is he gonna, talk and give information, whatever? So here, it's just so interesting because obviously, like, I don't know anything about Manafort or any of these people, and I was like, I thought to myself, how can you tell? Like, how is it? I have no idea, right? What is it gonna tell me, and whether any of it is gonna make any sense? So thank God I have the two different different sets of cards, because they tell slightly different stories. They rhyme, basically. So here's again Mueller. So what's his attitude towards Mueller? Is he going to collaborate? What's the deal? So here, okay, this is like all of it is like, it's incredible. This second row, I'm like, whoa, crazy. So this is like a card of dishonesty, of things going on behind your back. Usually when you have like normal readings, it's like about somebody cheating, or like obviously, like, I don't like have readings with like people who are like criminals or whatever, but like this is like, again, a card of cheating, things going on behind the scenes that are like not, it's a person stealing swords. So like it's a card of like illegal shenanigans going on. So then you have hello, justice reversed. So now this is, if you ask me, like, what's the card, because I actually did some research online before I started, because I was like, okay, how can I really tell what are the cards that are related to imprisonment or going to jail? Because that was really my question. What's going to happen with all these people, right? All these people who are in this investigation and so forth. So justice reverse literally means that that the verdict is against you, that it's going to be negative, like you're going to jail, definitely. So yes, according to this is like a crime person. The verdict is against you, and going to definitely I would think he is going to go to jail. Yes. So just because, even though I asked the specificity of this question is going to be addressed like towards the end, because of he like cheated, like he's not collaborating with Mueller, and he's done wrong things, the justice is overturned. And then this is like so interesting. So this card is like a card of benefactors and getting, like, I sometimes see this card because I do a lot of like tech for like, I'm interested in like investors and so forth. So when a person gets an investment, this is the card, right? Upright, Six of Pentacles. But reverse, so you can see this card, there's a benefactor, and it's basically a card about give and take. Like somebody, like, it's, what is it called? Like, you wash my back, I wash your back, something like that. I forgot exactly that expression, but this is it. Like, it's like a person who gives you a gift but expects something in return. And now that it's reversed, I also just looked it up again, and it's true. It's like, it means that you owe something, you have a debt, you didn't pay it back or something. Or like when someone gives you something that may not even be like a bank loan, but it's some sort of a loan, that there's an expectation that you're gonna pay back, but you haven't. So like, okay, so here's the deal. So this is like, oh my God, sorry, I'm moving around, 1 second. Sorry, like it's so lo-fi here. 1 second. Okay, went down, sitting. Okay, all right. So I'm sitting down again. So so here you have this, is like, I was like, oh my God, what? And I'm like, whoa, so interesting. So this, look how cool. This is so cool. Like, this is the house card. And I'm like, okay, what does it mean, a house? I was like, oh my God. Like, isn't he involved in real estate? Like, oh, that's right, Manafort, yes. Like, supposedly how like he laundered money was through real estate. So like, this is like obligations and debts, or like things that were given to him about real estate and were not paid. So so here you have the whole kind of like building out the case. And then this is like, when I just first saw the smaller cards, and I was like, oh, interesting. It doesn't show anything super specific. But this is like a card of like older people, or like something's been going on for a long time, and this is a woman. There's a woman involved in something. And because like the core of this part of the reading is Mueller, I am thinking, okay, this is obviously my interpretation, like a woman, maybe his wife, is collaborating with Mueller and is like maybe, I don't know, giving information about the real estate stuff, like the things that like were the shady like real estate stuff. So anyway, I don't know what it means. I don't know who this woman is, but just looking at the tarot cards, I feel like Mueller is uncovering the shady like crimes or whatever, is giving the verdict that's going to go against him. And it's all, it's like the key to Mueller, that like how is he gonna get to Manafort, right? Because it's like, how do you even prove like, I'm not a lawyer obviously, but how do you even prove stuff? Like, I have no idea, right? So I feel like this is saying that the way that he's gonna get him is through the debts, the real estate debts that he has. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. All right, so now I'm moving on to the last part of the reading, which is he gonna go to jail, yes or no? So here we see that like the verdict is against him, so he's going to jail, like, right? This is like the whole legal case and what happens. So then, oh my god, whoa, it's like a lot of stuff here. So okay, all right, so then I picked, for the last third of this, I picked this card, which is jail, right? I'm like, okay, what card represents jail? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put it out there. Since I want to do a lot of reading, okay, I'm just reorganizing it to make sure that I see everything. So okay, so anyway, so everybody, whenever I do the reading about this whole like Trump-Russia situation, I am going to ask about this. Like, I'm gonna use this, like these like significators for all of them, just so I know, like, so that everybody gets the same, like, right, like answers or whatever. So first, okay, so this is so then whether they're going to go to jail or not. So this is the card that generally like represents jail, imprisonment in tarot. Like, there's several other cards, but this one is one of the bigger ones. And I didn't want to use the Justice card, which ended up appearing up there, because it's a major arcana, and who knows, there's just like a lot of different things that could pop up related to that. Another prison card that I thought, oh, I'm going to use, it showed up here, which is the Tower. The Tower means isolation. It means corporations. I generally use it as corporations, but it could also mean government. It could also mean prison. Precisely, it's like so then you have to, of course, look at the entirety of a reading, like what is the context of everything and what does it mean. So okay, so then okay, when I first got it, I was a little bit confused, so I pulled out some extra cards anyway, but like I was like, okay, what does this mean? It doesn't seem all that bad. And then I was like, okay, so this is like the heart means it's like happiness, or like who you are, like I was like, and then I looked it up further because I thought, oh, heart, it just means it's always very positive, right? And then I was like, oh, okay, you could see, some people said it could be partnership. So I thought, okay, maybe this makes sense. Like the book is a card of secrets. So it's like, it means that the person, their heart, or their, I guess, agenda, you could say, or their participation in the secrets leads to jail, because this is the last card, right? So the last card is literally jail. So yes, it looks like he's going to jail. But then I was like, that's so interesting that the tarot cards are not necessarily bad. But then I thought, okay, so my question, let me think back about the question. What question did I ask? It was going to be jail, yes or no. So it's like, actually, in the context of the question and how I position this, the spread at the jail, like going to jail would have to be positive. So in a way, like, let me think about this. It's like, okay, so because he was strongly, like, strength, like internal strength, so it's because he was strongly involved and his heart was in it, right? This is a card of the past, people from the past. So because he was strongly involved, and because there's like all these deals from the past, it's like secret, right? Secret deals from the past. This is a card of harvest. It's like when you're like, it's literally the card of harvest. So like, because his involvement in all these like secret deals from the past, he harvests prison. So like that's what he gets. And then I was like, okay, is there a way, I thought to myself, okay, is there a way this could be positive? Maybe like who knows, he like something, I'm projecting. I thought to myself, let me find out a little bit more to make sure. So then I pulled out another set of these so then tarot, right? And then the little cards here. So then I got more. Oh no, this was correct position here. This is where it was. Okay. So then I was like, oh, okay, got it. Like, so this is more negative, and Panks, it gives more details. So basically, look, when I looked up, again, I did some research about the specific cards related to prison. This one came up because it's this card of somebody going away for a long time, moving on. So it literally looks like going away to prison. And snake is a card of problems, like a sneaky person, but it basically points to problems, right? And what is this? Money problems, right? If you look at the Lenormand, money problems. And the tarot confirms this because it's reversed 5 pentacles. So it's like all poverty, like long-standing problems. And you could think like, okay, since the money was in some ways illicit, then you have these problems. And then delays. The card of like this card, like this, it means when something happens quickly, but reversed, it means there's a lot of delays. And this card is interesting. It's like, generally it's a positive card, but it also has this context of time. Like it means it lasts a really long time. So if we read this literally, it means that basically, yes, he's going to jail, but the real issue here is that he has serious financial problems that are going to last a really long time, right? He's going away to jail, but like, it looks like the whole key to Manafort and his real problem is going to be money, right? Like it's like they're going after him through money, and that he's going to owe a lot of money, and that's like the core of like what's going to happen. So I feel like I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about how these cases are, like, and again, I'm not a specialist in this, but I'm thinking like, because of how a lot of legal people that I follow, like on Twitter or whatever, like they say, follow the money. It's definitely true, because I feel like money is traceable. And like you say, do you support it? Like, how can you even prove like what a person, like, do they support a dictator? Yes or not? Like that just so seems kind of abstract, right? So in a way, but then if you look at the money situation, that's how they get them. That's how Al Capone, they got Al Capone. It was like, was it a tax evasion? So like, because the whole money problem, the reason why the IRS is always involved in these situations is because like there's all these tax evasions. So I feel like there's just going to be like a lot of problems that are going to be uncovered through this like financial investigation. And then if you go back to here, we see that there probably is a woman who has the information, or somebody, and I'm sure like Mueller, or maybe there's somebody who works for Mueller, I don't know, like, or Mueller knows that there's all these issues with the money. Here's the real estate going wrong, like the debts about real estate. So I feel like this is a downfall. Okay, so I feel like, okay, now just overview here. Let's just look at the whole reading. So I feel like I'm confident that, yes, I could say that there's definitely a problem for Manafort, and yes, he's going to jail, and yes, his money is gonna be the key to everything, and that's how they're gonna get him, and they're gonna not only send him to jail, but he has to pay back the money or lose everything or something like that. Okay, so that's what I see here. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much for your nice comments. I'm just starting out with this YouTube thing. It's cool that you guys support it, and I just feel so anxious about this whole situation that in a way I find this so therapeutic. I used to watch other people's readings, but I feel like for me, because I have it's like all the time, spend all this time like reading stuff on Twitter or whatever, and thinking about like I want to do like what's positive. Like I need to think that obviously you need to see the reality of what's going on with all the crimes, but you want to think of things that are positive. You want to feel like we're going to overcome this and so forth. But anyway, so this is one of the ways that I feel like helps me, definitely. And I'm sure I can't be alone. Like, I can't be the only one who has all these questions about what's going on, because I feel like there's just so much going on. There's no way we know. Like, how do we even know, all this stuff? So anyway, I hope this helps others the way it helps me. And again, thank you so much for your nice comments. And okay, have a good week. Okay, bye.